सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll continue our journey with Mundaka Upanishad. Today, second Mundaka, first Khanda. The first verse, Tadetat Satyam Yatha Sudiptat Pavakad Visphullingaha Sahasrashah Prabhavante Sarupaha Tatha Akshara Vividaha Somya Bhavaha Prajayante Tatra Chaivapi Yanti. Meaning of that is, this is the truth. Just as from a blazing fire, thousands of beautifully shaped sparks shine forth, similarly, from that imperishable one or akshara, various forms are projected forth and then absorbed back into it. So this is kind of a creation from nothing, how this world comes into existence. This is kind of a high level summary of that. So from that Agni, this is the truth. I mean, Rishi says this is the truth. So he begins with this notion that from that blazing fire. Now, what is that fire? We are doing the Havana or Homa. From that fire, there are 7 types of flames that we just last week we came to know about those. So from the fire, the sparkling fire, Pullinga, that's the word used. So from that, it's like a sparkling from that flame. And because there is an element called akshara, which is imperishable or cannot be eroded, which always exists. So when those sparkles project on akshara bhava, and then various forms are projected forth. And again, so this is creation, and every form again goes back to that akshara, meaning what we call Brahma. From that Brahma, fire meaning here it is some kind of energy or Shakti, Shakti of Parabrahma. It creates that blazing fire, a sparkling fire. Those sparkles, when they are projected through or via Akshara Brahma, this creation, various forms come into existence. It is like projected. This world, our world, which we know as reality, for us, everything is real. I mean, we all are real. This phone is real, stand is real. We are sitting here, we are talking, listening, everything is real. But this is just the projection. It is like in Yoga Vasishta, it is said that this whole universe, this whole world is like projection in the dream. And who is dreaming? Parabrahma. So whatever is, we can't say his or her, but whatever his or her dream is, in that dream, this whole universe is projected, just like the dreams we see. When we see dreams, for us, during those moments, that dream is reality. It is projected within our brain as if it's a real thing, just like our universe. Whatever we see, it is right for us, it is true for us, but it is just the projection. And it again goes back. When the dream is over, everything is gone in a second. Right? So that's how this creation happens. Second verse, Divyo iha murtah purushah sa bahyabhyantaro yajah aprano iha manaha shubro yaksharat paratah parah. Meaning of that is, divine indeed is that immortal Purusha who exists both inside and outside, never born indeed, free from prana and the mind, that bright one, indestructible, higher than the highest, para, paratah parah. Very interestingly, when we see dream, We are part of the dream, even though it is within us, but we are also within that dream. Similarly, when that avyakta purusha, that parabrahma, purusha does not mean it's male or man. Purusha here is whoever is that parabrahma, that is purusha. From that purusha, avyakta purusha, because purusha, that purusha sees the dream, the projection of this universe, which is within purusha, but purusha is also within the world. That's exactly what Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, that everything is created by my maya. My maya is the reason for the existence of reality, the reality that we see or we experience. I am within them. I am within this reality, but that reality is also within me, and I am like untouched. Everything is within me. I am also within it, but it does not touch me, or I do not touch by that. So hard to comprehend, but if we look at our own experience, because we, all of us, we are also an ansh of Purusha, that Param Purush, Parabrahma. We are also a tiny speck of it. So we also have some of the qualities like that. Though we are not one with God, but we also have some characteristics. So when we look at our dream state, it is reality for us. We are within that dream. That dream is within us, but we are not touched by that dream. Maybe for a moment, or when the dream is over, when we wake up, we may feel it, but it is not our reality. Reality dream is not reality, is what the bottom line is. Now, some of the characteristics used here: free from prana and mind. So, mind is also one of the states of this universe. So, Bhagavad Gita clearly mentions about that. The Jal, Prithvi, Agni, Vayu, Akash, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. These are all apara prakriti. So that is also not Parabrahma. Parabrahma is beyond that. Parabrahma is beyond prana. Prana is also something within this universe, within the realm of Brahma. But what is beyond is, because that Parabrahma, Parampurush, is the source of prana and all this prakriti, para prakriti or apara prakriti. So when the source, when there is source, everything that comes from the source, but source is beyond all that is created, and that's why Parampurush is beyond prana and mind. Bright, why bright? Shubra, that is the word used here. Shubra, why bright? If the when we talk about Parabrahma, which is beyond everything, which is beyond every material, which is beyond Prakriti, then how can that be bright? Because brightness is also a characteristic of matter, right? But this brightness is something Sri Krishna describes it this way: Nahi Shashanko, Nahi Suryo, not even thousands of Chandra, moon, not even thousands of sun, Surya, can illuminate what I am. I am brighter than that. And that's how the yogis or sadhakas, they also experience something similar. When they are deep in samadhi, what they experience is, first thing they experience is light. They have to go beyond the light, but first characteristic or first state they experience is light. And that's why Parabrahma is also Shubra. Indestructible, of course. I mean, everything comes from Parabrahma, so how can that be destroyed? Meaning Akshara. Higher than the highest. Parataha, Paraha.
It uses three names, right? It uses Nirgun Brahma,
Nirguna Brahma.
Sagun Brahma, and then
So Parabrahma is beyond everything, and that is source of everything. Now, it does not have any characteristic, does not have any properties. So that is Nirguna Brahma. But it's like very first verse that from that fire the sparkles happen, and that sparkles projected via Akshara Brahma, and that creates various forms. The forms that we see, whatever forms we want to see, as Narayana, as Sri Krishna, as Ramachandra, as Ganesh, as Shiva, as Adya Shakti, any form that we can think of, all those forms, 33 Koti Devatas, they all come from that Nirguna Brahma. But since last year we went through Kathopanishad, it clearly said that following the path of Nirguna Brahma, it's like walking a dark path full of sharp edged knives. So that Nirguna, following Nirguna Brahma is very dangerous for us because we cannot comprehend. Uh, I mean,
What is Akshar Brahma?
so all these Brahmas, I mean, these are just the names, right? Labels. But what is Akshara? Which cannot be destructed, which cannot be eroded, which always exists. That is Akshara. Cannot be Kshara. Kshara means erosion, any kind of erosion, and that cannot happen, and that is Akshara.
Gita mentioned that we have to go away from form-based worship to nirguna.
No,
No?
no. Sri Krishna says, yes, both are correct, but upasana of nirguna is very difficult and not for everyone. For us, it's better to follow form-based sadhana. So any form we like, just follow that, because ultimately it will lead to Parabrahma.
Is there example of this?
We cannot, we cannot give any example. Right? We cannot define.
It's not like a form of Shiva.
No, 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 no.
And nirguna
See,
by definition is without any characteristic.
exactly, exactly. It does not have any guna. So it is beyond our comprehension. When we say a formless Shivalinga, there is still some kind of form, right? But when we talk about Parabrahma, beyond any guna, we cannot comprehend.
So this is like there's matter antimatter. So
Right,
from like the field, matter antimatter.
right.
Couldn't it be that field?
No, it is even beyond that. Anything we can describe is not Parabrahma. So we cannot define, we cannot describe, we cannot comprehend. But even that's why in Ashtanga Yoga, the final path is Samadhi. But there are various types of Samadhis. Samadhi is not just one type. There are various types because there are different qualities of Brahma. And the ultimate is going beyond any qualities, any properties, and that is Sakshatkar of Nirguna Brahma. But that's not possible. Uh, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he gave very good example like this, that we know the ocean, right? Ocean is very big, and we think that we know the depth. So one day we wanted to experience the depth. So jumped into ocean, going down, down, down. But imagine that dog, meaning us, we are made up of salt. So what happens? We jumped into the ocean. We know there is great depth, but as we go deeper and deeper, we dissolve. Right? So that is Nirguna Brahma Sakshatkar. We dissolve. There is no difference afterwards. There is no difference between Parabrahma and whoever has experienced it. And for us, whoever experiences that cannot live in the body for more than 21 days, is what yogis say. If we are not of that quality, I mean, we are all common people, right? So if somebody from higher level, like Ishvara Koti or big sant, he or she could stay in the body as long as he or she wishes. But for us, whatever method, whatever path, grace of someone, not up but within us, whatever grace we receive, if someday we get to have this experience, Nirguna Brahma Sakshatkar. So after that, not more than 21 days left, is what is said, because we'll dissolve ourselves. Uh, Third verse, एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी. Meaning, from him is born the prana, the mind, all senses, space, air, light, water, the earth that supports the whole world. Meaning, this is Prakriti. So, Prakriti is born out of Parabrahma. So, Apara Prakriti is what mentioned here. Prana or Jiva, that is Para Prakriti, and the rest are Apara Prakriti. I mean, because of the things mentioned like this, I always say that Bhagavad Gita is summary of all the 10 major Upanishads. So read 10 major Upanishads and kind of try to write all the concise statements. That becomes Bhagavad Gita. And all the Upanishads, they have source in Vedas. So if we read Vedas, this is what we study in schools, right? Or from elsewhere. That Vedas, they talk about Indra, Agni, Usha, Soma, Svashta, this and that. And majority of the suktas in Vedas, they prescribe do this type of havana, yajna. Do this yajna, offer this soma, offer this ahuti, and chant this sukta. But what is it in reality? This is exactly what the reality is, what is mentioned in the Upanishad. When we say Indra, Indra is not somebody living on the clouds. At many places, it is clearly mentioned in Vedas that Indra and Surya are the same. Surya is Indra. Mitra, Surya is Mitra. Pusha, Surya is Pusha. So Surya is our Puratan Deva, the first Deva. And that was clearly a Surya Upasana. All the Vedas talk about is Surya Upasana. And Soma, sun, or all the Devatas, they like Soma. Soma is Prana. In current notion, in our contemporary world, Prana is life force. And that's what comes from, that knowledge comes from Upanishad. So Prana is something that gives life, which creates Para Prakriti. And for us, source of life is sun. Life cannot exist on earth without sun. So the photon particles that come from sun, somehow they do something which we don't understand fully. We know that okay, photosynthesis happens and all the plants they create the food and we eat that and other animals eat that and some humans consume those animals also. So it's a cycle. So but source is sun. But how photosynthesis occurs, how it is converted into starch, that photon has energy, but that energy does something and creates life. That process we don't understand yet. We understand how it nourishes body and how nourishes plants and various other life forms, but how it creates life, how the first life came into existence, what is the source, that we don't know yet. But our shastras say that sun, what we see that happens in the sun is just the outer layer of sun. What is within sun is beyond our comprehension, and we call that as Param Purusha. Param Purusha resides in sun, and that nourishes life on earth. And well, I have a theory. We know that the center of galaxy is giant black hole, and that black hole consumes everything around it, and it beyond extent. Its extent is infinite, right? It's a black hole. So all these black holes, if they are infinite, they are interconnected, and any mass in this universe, even us, when we say there is Atma within heart, what is that Atma? We cannot experience it. We cannot detect it. So what is it? It is beyond our dimension. So what could that be? A very, not even nano times nano black hole within us. Sun might have micro black hole. Earth might have nano black hole. So every matter, every mass that is in this universe has some kind of black hole that we do not understand. And that is what we call Brahma or Atma, or I mean, they are interconnected that way.
Basically projection of,
Projection of that. Yeah, projection of.
because this is black, everything is projected on the edge of the black hole. That's
Yes.
the boundary curve.
Yes, yes.
So that's probably
That's what we saw, right? So Akshara Brahma, that black hole, though there are theories that it can be destructive, but what it is, we don't know. So let's call it Akshar Brahma, and from that everything is projected. So that is our life. That is what we see around us. So now everything is connected. Ishwar is Sarvatomukhi, can hear, can talk, can see everything in this universe. So how is it possible? Unless and until everything is connected, right? Through that infinite thread. And that's what exactly Sri Krishna says. Sutre Mani Gana Iva. The whole universe is contained within me as if I am the thread and everything is within me, like those beads. But I know everything. I know Bhut, Bhavishya, and Vartman. I know each and every being, but nobody knows me. Fourth verse. अग्निर्मूर्धा चक्षुषि चन्द्रसूर्यौ दिशः श्रोत्रे वाग् विवृताश्च वेदाः वायुः प्राणो हृदयं विश्वमस्य पद्भ्यां पृथिवी ह्येष सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा. Meaning of this is, fire is his crown, his eyes are the moon and the sun, the directions are his ears, his speech expressed are the Vedas, the air is his prana, the universe is his heart, the earth is his feet. He is indeed Antaratma of everything. This is exactly what we talk about, right? So there is a Purusha Sukta in Vedas. So it clearly mentions how a Purusha, Param Purusha, operates. Many Puranas, they also talk about how Virat Purusha came into existence. I mean, these are all stories. They narrate it in a story. So when we read, it feels like our serials, TV serials. Some magical things happened out of nowhere. Something sprung, and from that Virat Purush came into existence, and from Virat Purush, this whole world. So this is the picture. This is the image that Virat Purush is what? Here, Rushi is creating this image that everything is Param Purush, Ishvara. Then, what are his eyes? Moon and sun. What is his crown? All the fire. What is his feet? Earth. So it is a Virat Purush imagination, a Kalpana. This is where the Saguna Upasana comes into practice. Because we know we cannot comprehend what is beyond our experience. What next best we can do, that is our imagination, the form, the Saguna Upasana. But the problem is, the form I like is the best, agreed. But when I say my form is the best and better than yours, then there is problem. And that's what we see in today's world. That's what we see. And that's why youngsters moving away from religion, because they see what is this nonsense happening. They all fight. What is right? Who is right? How can we prove? There is no proof, right? Somebody says Shiva is the ultimate. Somebody says Adya Shakti is ultimate. Somebody says no, Krishna is ultimate. No, Hanuman is ultimate. Kartikeya is ultimate. So these are all fights. It's because my form is the best. That's how we must have faith. Our form is the ultimate. At least we should have that faith. But others' faith we must not challenge because it's their faith. Let's say we all like Sri Krishna. We all do puja and pray Sri Krishna. Let's go downstairs in the temple. There are multiple murtis, right? Sri Krishna's murti is there. Now let's all stand there and try to look at Sri Krishna. How we describe, how we feel, how we experience. It's going to be different. Even though murti is same, we are looking at the same murti, we are standing against the same murti, but we are talking different things. There might be some commonality, yes, but there might be some differences as well. So what we comprehend has to be the best, but it does not mean I am following the only best thing that is best for others also. No, it is best for me, not for others. And Rushi, this is his imagination, that what is Virat Purush, what is the form, what is Saguna Brahma, how can he describe? And this is his description. Fifth verse. तस्मादग्निः समिदो यस्य सूर्यः सोमात् पर्जन्य ओषधयः पृथिव्यां पुमान् रेतः सिञ्चति योषितायां बह्वीः प्रजाः पुरुषात् सम्प्रसूताः. Meaning of that is, from him comes fire, the fuel which is the sun, the rain from the moon, the herbs of the earth, the virile seed that man plants into woman, from Purusha indeed is this entire creation begot. So this is Parabrahma or Param Purusha, and from him or her everything sprung. So this is how, old times, whatever base they could describe, this is what the description is. When we ask somebody who studies biology or physics or chemistry, they would describe it in details, they would give theories, but ultimately it's the same thing they are talking about, that life has come from somewhere, something. It does not just come by accident. Okay, there are accidents, but those accidents are because of some reasons, and that reason is Param Purusha. Because Param Purusha had this dream, started seeing this dream, and it is very beautifully described in Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha is, it is not very popular text, not like Bhagavad Gita or even there are other Gitas. But when Ramchandraji went to Rishi Vasishtha's ashram, he was studying. It was for study, his study, and brothers said, all the brothers were there. So the brothers were interested in other playful activities, but Ramchandra, he was interested in philosophy, and he questioned Guru Vasishtha. Whatever you are teaching is right, but what is this universe? What is this? But when I look up, it's very vast. So what is it in reality? And then Guru Vasishtha, what he says is Yoga Vasishtha, and it has, for youngsters, if you study physics or if you are at least like physics, it talks about parallel universes. It talks about, let's say I am here or you are here, but I exist at the same time in multiple universes. We cannot experience that, right? I exist here, only here, but at the same time I also exist elsewhere in multiple universes. I don't experience that, but Yoga Vasishtha tells that. Yoga Vasishtha also talks about how all these universes come into existence like a dream of Parabrahma. So everything is beautifully explained in Yoga Vasishtha. Sixth verse. Tasmadruchah sama yajunshi diksha yajnyascha sarve kratavo dakshinascha संवत्सरश्च यजमानश्च लोकाः somo yatra pavate yatra suryah. Meaning, of friend, from him come the Rug, the Sam, the Yajur, meaning the Vedas, initiation rites, sacrificial rites, all sacrifices and offerings, the year, the sacrificer, and the worlds, whatever the moon illumines, and whatever the sun. So everything that we see or we experience around us, everything comes from Param Purusha. Even Vedas. Here, three Vedas are mentioned: Rigveda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. But Atharva Veda is not mentioned because this Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, is from Atharva Upanishad. Atharva Veda. That's why it does not mention Atharva Veda here. But everything what we do, Bhagavad Gita has mentioned many different yajnas. We talked about that last time probably. That various yajnas are, you can do any one of them. And the simplest is chant any name. If you are given diksha from a guru, then follow that mantra or just say Om or anything you like. And for every breath, you must chant in your mind. Every breath in, every breath out, you must have that. Or this is practice, right? Over the years, we'll be able to master it. That our every breath will become mantra, and that is one of the best yajnas we can do. So everything is Parabrahma. Any path leads to Parabrahma. And these are various means or tools we can use. 7th verse. तस्माच्च देवा बहुधा संप्रसूताः साध्या मनुष्याः पशवो वयांसि प्राणापानौ विहियवौ तपश्च श्रद्धा सत्यम brahmacharyam vidhishcha. Meaning, from him indeed are born the many gods, the sages, men, animals, birds, the incoming and outgoing breath, rice, barley, austerity, faith, truth, abstinence, and rituals. Everything is Brahma, not only matter or energy or jiva, but every process. Even year, Samvatsara, right? It is mentioned here, Samvatsara, which is 1 year. That is also Parabrahma. Now, it's little hard to comprehend that how can a Samvatsara be God. But when we look at what Samvatsara is, it is a rotation of Earth round the Sun. And that happens because gravity. That gravity must have come from somewhere, whatever theories we want to give, but ultimately there is some common source, and that is Parabrahma. All these various forms of austerities like tapa, many people do upavasa, Navratri Upas is going on currently. Many people do that. That is also Parabrahma. So even though these are tools, but tools are also Parabrahma. So there is no difference between tools and who uses and who gives. It's all the same. We cannot comprehend, but that is our sadhana. At least we must proceed further and understand that. Now, importantly, word manushya is used here. Now, that word manushya comes from Manu, right? So Manu must have existed before when this Upanishad was written, or before when Atharva Veda was written. That's how the name Manushya comes into existence. Comes from Manu. There are many suktas in Rigveda, and Rishi for those suktas is Manu Vaivasvata. So Vaivasvat is our current Manvantara, the 8th Manvantara. Vaivasvat is son of, actually Vivasvan. Manu Vaivasvata is Vivasvan's son. Vivasvan becomes Vaivasvat. So like Krishna Vasudev, right? Krishna's father was Vasudeva. That's why Krishna is called Krishna Vasudeva. Just like that, Manu Vaivasvat is son of Vivasvan, and Vivasvan is son of Surya. Now, the word used for son of Surya is not Saurya but Indra. So, son of Indra is Indra. That's how they use this word. That means Indra and sun are the same. So, this is our lineage. For us, Pratyaksha Deva is Surya Narayan, and that represents Parabrahma. Even humans, English word human, that also comes from Manushya. That means the root is Manu. Somewhere we accepted that. Now, interestingly, uh, sidetrack, in Navratra, many people do Durga Saptashati Pathan and do Havan with Durga Saptashati mantras and all that. Now, Durga Saptashati is part of Markandeya Purana. Markandeya Purana talks about Savarnik Manvantara. All these things mentioned in Durga Saptashati is from Savarnik Manvantara. Our current Manvantara is Vaivasvat. Next is Savarnik. So, how is it possible? That means they are talking about a previous Kalpa. So, 14 Manvantaras, they create one Kalpa. And our Kalpa is Shveta Varaha Kalpa. When we do Yagna or Puja, this is what Brahmana tells us, right? Shveta Varaha Kalpe, Vaivasvit, Manvantare, right? Kali Yuge. Ashtotara Vinshati Chaturyuge, 28th Chaturyuga in Vaivasvat Manvantar. And in that Kali Yuga. So Shvetvaraha Kalpa, the Kalpa beyond or before that. Now one Kalpa has cycle of 22 crore, 220 million years. That means they are talking about stories of things happened 220 million years before. Can we prove or can we accept that? Right? We cannot prove with current science or knowledge. But it is clearly written in Markandeya Purana. It is from Savarnika Manvantara. They did not mention Kalpa, but we have to assume our Kalpa is Shvetavaraha and we are in Vaivasvat Manvantara. Next is Savarnik Manvantara. So the Savarnik Manvantara they talk about when all the Danavas were killed by Jagdamba happened in previous Kalpa. Or it could be even previous universe. Why? Because Markandeya Rishi, in Mahabharata there is a story when Pandavas were in forest exile, they met Markandeya Rishi. So Sri Krishna, when he came to know about it, he asked Yudhishthir, you know who Markandeya Rishi is? Go and talk to him and get the knowledge of creation from him. So Yudhishthir asked, why? Then Sri Krishna says, because Markandeya Rishi was born in previous universe, and because he did Mahamrutyunjaya Japa, he did not leave his body. He survived the destruction of that universe. He saw everything by his eyes. Now he is in this universe. He also saw how this universe is created. So learn from him. And this is clearly mentioned. So Yudhishthira asked this first question, how the world gets destroyed and how the world is created. So Markandeya Rishi describes. Very beautiful description. And if you read that description and now do Google what physics says, how this solar system is going to be destructed, how the world, when all the black holes will join, will be destructed. If you look at all this, you can see word to word matching. That means we have to assume Markandeya Rishi saw destruction of universe and saw how the universe came into existence. That means his Purana, Markandeya Purana, could be from previous universe. We don't know. And Markandeya Rishi, when we talk about Chiranjeevins, we talk about 7. Bali Raja, Bhagwan Parshuram, Bhagwan Hanuman, Vibhishan, Bhagwan Vedvyasa, Krupacharya, and Ashwatthama. But we forget one name, Markandeya Rishi. He is the eighth Chiranjeevi. He still is alive. I mean, we can't meet him, of course, but our Shastras say that. Seventh verse, Tasmacha Deva Bahuda Samprasutaha. We already went through, sorry. Eighth verse, Sapta Pranaha Prabhavanti Tasmat Saptarchishah Samidah Sapta Homaha Sapta Ime Loka Yeshu Charanti Prana Guhashaya Nihitaha Sapta Sapta. Now, 7 is a magical figure in the universe. The meaning of this is the 7 pranas also spring from him, as do the 7 lights, the 7 types of sacrificial fuel, the 7 worlds in which the 7 pranas move, the 7 caves in which they reside. Well, we know Pancha Prana, Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, and Samana. But here Roshi talks about 7 Prana, Sapta Prana. So, who are those other two? Panch Prana creates our physical body. It, so, Prana is what we breathe in that sustains life. Apana is what goes down, excretion, and all those activities. Vyana is blood circulation. Udana is gives us buoyancy. Very interestingly, when we are alive and try to lift somebody who is also alive, versus if that person is dead, that dead body, the same person, if you lift, there is more weight. The more weight is felt in the dead body. It's because of Udana, because Udana gives buoyancy. And Samana. Samana is in our digestion. Everything is mixed and created into beautiful, nourishing elements. So these are all Pancha Pranas. But what are other two? Uh, the other two belongs to universal prana. Whatever is what we call Brahma, which is everywhere. That is the source of all the Pancha Pranas, and that is universal prana. And there is Rai. Rai is something called, when we talk about Sri Krishna, we usually talk about Radha, right? Krishna and Radha. What is Radha? Radha is Aishwarya, or Ahladini Shakti of Sri Krishna. According to Srimad Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavat says this. Srimad Bhagavat does not have word Radha. There is no Radha mentioned in Srimad Bhagavat, but Srimad Bhagavat talks about Ahladini Shakti. So that is Radha, which is Rai in Rigvedic terms, or in the Upanishads, that word is used. And Rai is created from this universal prana. So prana is sustainer of Paraprakriti, and Rai, which is sustainer of Aparaprakriti. Again, energy and matter, or Shiva and Shakti, or Radha and Krishna. And those are two pranas beyond our panch pranas within body. And they all live in saptaguhyas, meaning 7 different cavities. Prana lives in our lungs, Apana lives in the lower part, the Vyana lives in, again, our heart pumps, right? So that guhya, Udana, that also comes from our lungs, but in a different manner, because that gives buoyancy. And Samana, that lives in our intestines. So these are various cavities. The prana, universal prana, lives in universe. So that is also like a cavity, right? Like big, we call it cosmic egg, Brahmanda. So it's like a cosmic egg. It's also a cavity, and that prana lives there. And Rai lives in wherever space it can find. So like this stand. This stand is made up of material, matter, right? So that is Rai. So Sapta Prana. and Sapta Guhya. Similarly, 7 types of sacrificial fuel. Sapta Homa, Sapta Samidha, 7 types of Samidha. Well, I don't know all of them. Samidha is something we offer in the yajnas, like ghee and herbs and dry fruits, even coconut and betel nut. So these are various things that we offer in the fire. So there are 7 types of samidha. And sapta loka. Now we know about 14 lokas, right? But sapta urdhva lokas and sapta lower lokas. So they are 14. So earth is in the middle, the other 6 below and 7 above us. Above meaning not up in the sky, but in our body. So our body represents universal Virat Purush. So we have 7 chakras, the major chakras. So they are each lokas. Once we pierce through all these chakras, we also get to know about that dimension or dimension beyond our comprehension. A new dimension opens up and we experience something beyond that. So that becomes like a new loka. It's still Prithvi loka, but we experience a new loka. Similarly, if we go downward, there are 6 lower lokas. So these are total 14 lokas. I think we can stop here. These are all various attributes and discussion. I think, we can complete it. Ninth verse, Atah samudra girayascha sarve asmat yasadante sindavah sarvarupaha atascha sarva oshadayo rasascha yenaischa bhutaistishthate yantaratma. From him come the oceans and mountains. From him flow rivers of every form and shape. From him come all herbs and juices, and in him stand established all beings and the Atma or inner Atma, Antaratma. Again, everything is Parabrahma, is what is described here. Purusha evedam vishram karma tapo brahma paramrutam etadyo veda nihitam guhayam so avidya granthim vikiratiha saumya. Meaning the Purusha is all this, the universe, all the karmas, all the tapas, austerities, the absolute, the highest immortal, Amruta. He who knows this one hidden deep within the cave of the heart rends asunder all knots of ignorance. So whatever lives within us, yatha pinde tatha brahmande. So try to focus within. We cannot go even beyond our solar system, right? Even not possible. We can look up, but that's all. So what is best we can do? Go within, because that is more accessible, but most challenging also, because what we see is what we can do, but what is within cannot be seen, cannot be experienced, cannot be measured. But at least walk that path, follow Ashtanga Yoga, and it will give some experience, is what Rushi trying to say here. And this is Prathama Khanda of Dvitiya Mundaka. We can complete here. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः